Hello, folks. Welcome to a slightly belated Halloween episode of The Green Room. I'm your host, Wayne Green. I always manage to forget to introduce myself. We're now on episode 7, or, as my special guest for this episode has just corrected me, 007. Because my special guest on this episode is someone I've known for a long time. And although we work together, you've probably noticed a theme that most of the guests I have on the podcast are people I work with. Me and my guest have known each other longer than that. Please welcome Mr. Bond, Alex Bond. See what I did there?
I did. Very good. Hello, Wayne.
I remembered to do it right at the last minute. How you doing?
Were you expecting me?
I was expecting you, yeah, even though I wasn't prepared for you to get it. I've been mucking around for like the last 40 minutes just trying to get everything ready, but
I need a cat to stroke.
That sounds really dodgy. Okay, you can have the furry cushion. Alex is stroking a furry cushion at the moment, yeah, that should make a video, an interesting video segment.
Yes, it would. I can't do that.
So thanks for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me.
That's fine. It's you know me. I like to talk to anyone. So I got Alex on just because I put a post up on Facebook, didn't I?
You did, yes.
And I'll tell you where that post came from. I was watching. I don't listen to the whole Joe Rogan podcast. Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
Not really, no.
He's like the biggest podcaster in the world. I don't listen to all of his podcasts, I'll be honest, but I follow him on YouTube, and he puts a lot of video clips up of the episodes and the people he has on, and he has quite a lot of interesting people on. And he had a guy on called, I think his name was David Fravor. I think that's right. I hope I've got that right. And he's a retired Navy pilot, captain, and he has one of the only credible UFO sightings and stories that there are. And I watched this whole thing about him describing, we'll get into it in a bit, about him talking about his experience and everything. They had a little video and everything from the cameras on the aircraft. Yeah. Have you seen that?
I've seen videos of aircraft footage, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't show a lot.
Specifically the one you're on about.
No, but well, I'll put a link on the page. It was really interesting because this guy is a credible guy. You know, he's not just some wackos come on and said, I saw a UFO once, much like yourself.
Well, I'm a wacko or a UFO?
But yeah, and I thought, wow, because I love talking about UFOs, ghosts, and all this kind of thing. I have my own theories and my own ideas of what it could all be about and what's behind it, etc. But I love it, and I love the debate as well. I believe what I believe, but I'm also interested in talking to people who just slam it and go, no, it's ridiculous, there's no evidence, da-da-da-da. Anyway, I'm going off the point. So I put this post up about it. Yeah, I know, unlike me, isn't it? And I said, does anyone want to come on the episode, on the podcast, and talk to me about UFOs and ghosts, etc.? And you were one of the people that commented.
That's right.
And I thought, well, why not? Why the hell not?
Exactly.
And here you are.
Yep, lived with the presence and seen a UFO. So 2 boxes ticked.
Exactly. And I will just give a mention to Hayley Robinson, Mike Robinson's wife, and she said that she communicates with the spirit world. But I'm interested in it, and I did say about getting her on for another episode at some point. Cause
it's been tuned into different dimensions, because obviously we haven't got the 3 dimensions we know. There's up to 10 dimensions.
Well, we get into that, and I'm looking forward to it.
Good.
So, welcome to the
Thank
Green
you.
Room, and we'll do like the little bit of how we know each other first. We always do that, and I always end up going way too long. In the editing stage, I'm like 15 minutes of how we know each other, as if anyone cares. But
18 years we've known each other.
Yes,
at least.
Yeah,
at
did I
least
say
18.
15 years? I meant 15 minutes. Sorry of the podcast, but
yeah, 18 years I reckon. It's Callum's 19. And the memory I've got of you is you pushing him around in the pushchair around the shop you worked at.
Callum being your son, who is
my son,
now what?
19.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, say he was 1 when you pushed him around. in the chair.
I used to work at a shop in town, and Alex used to bring him in, or your then wife used to bring him in the pushchair on a day off because we worked together. And what was he, about 1? And I used to whiz him around the shop in the pushchair. He used to crack up.
You did, yeah.
But God, that's mad because I see him now. He's got tattoos and he's driving now.
He's driving, yes.
That's time gone.
Doing really well.
It's gone so quick, hasn't it?
It has.
We now work together, but not directly together. We just pass each other occasionally.
We do.
Yeah. We both run together. We both run. You've run in the past, and I run and have run.
I'm still injured, so I can't run at the moment.
Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah. I know. I talked about this on the last episode. I've never had an injury, so it is probably my time, but I didn't realise how frustrating it was to have something that just doesn't seem to go away. So we've been to Oktoberfest together.
Twice?
Twice? I can't remember.
Yes,
possibly.
We did,
yes, yeah. Which I've talked about on previous episodes. So, but that's always fun. So that's about it. That's how we know each other. But you actually are probably one of the reasons that I ended up working where I work, or where we work now. And I've been there 14 years. How long have you been there?
17.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, because I was thinking of changing jobs, and I spoke to you. You worked there. I asked you what it was like. You said it was good, the money was good, etc. And the rest is history.
It is.
So I've got you to blame.
Thank you.
So when I ask someone to come on to the podcast, I usually ask them to turn up with about 4 things in mind: a topic they want to talk about, a name they wouldn't call their baby, an embarrassing moment, and something that annoys them. Okay? When I said to you about coming on, we already decided that we were going to be talking about ghosts and the supernatural. And you turned up and you said that you would be quite happy to talk about a condition that you suffer with called neurofibromatosis.
Correct.
Okay. Commonly called NF.
NF1 or 2, depending which variation you've got.
Okay.
But NF doesn't score as much in Scrabble as the full word does.
No.
So.
I can barely say it, let alone spell it. So, I was more than happy for you to talk about it because it's something that you deal with on a daily basis and stuff like that. Yeah. So I'll leave it to you. You tell us, what is neurofibromatosis?
Well, so it's a genetic condition, which I obviously was born with. My variation is NF1 or neurofibromatosis type 1, which affects the growth of certain cells in the body.
Okay.
So it affects chromosome 17 of my DNA makeup, and there's a chemical which is produced which grows the nerves, and the defect in the gene makes more growth at the end of nerves possible.
Okay.
So you get bubbling on the skin, or lumps and bumps.
Yeah.
So I've got quite a few all over my body, as people who know me would have seen.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much as it goes for me. There can be some learning difficulties involved with it. Previously, I was diagnosed with dyslexia.
Previously?
But it's not dyslexia. It's actually part of the learning difficulties I have with the condition. So that's another thing which can be a side effect of it, let's say. And
Okay.
And then I get sort of other parts of it is I'm very insular.
Yeah.
I don't tend to go out too much unless I'm specifically invited to something. I can't go out on my own to a pub and hope to meet people.
Yeah.
I need to be people I know. I feel very self-conscious.
Well, I totally understand that. I'm not saying I can't understand living with the condition, but I've said to you before, I've had like phases of ingrown hairs on my neck, as gross as it sounds, and they come out, and I'm like terribly self-conscious about it, just from a little like spot on my neck that I've been digging at and can't get it. And sometimes I just don't want to go out because of it. It's like, oh my God, it looks gross and all this kind of thing. So I really, I can't imagine what it's been like for you to overcome something that's a condition.
Going to a swimming bath or going on holiday, going shirtless is very hard for me to do.
Yeah.
I need to really get over it because I've got hundreds of lumps and bumps everywhere.
So how old were you? Have you always had it? How old?
Yeah, it's a genetic condition, so I was born with it.
Okay.
But the lumps and bumps don't manifest till sort of puberty time, pretty much.
Right.
Then they start to go. But as far as I can remember, I've always had lumps and bumps. I can't remember a time when I was completely clear.
It's strange though, because I've known you a long time. I've known you before we worked together,
And I genuinely don't remember you having them. It's more in recent years that I've become aware of them so much.
Yeah.
You know, so you did have them. I just maybe didn't notice them.
Yeah,
Or...
they come frequently, but more so for some strange reason when you hit 40, 41.
Okay.
There's some body change, I know, midlife crisis, I know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That when your body starts to give up. As you alluded to in the last episode about when you get to a certain age and things start to give up.
Everything.
Things I've noticed more and more.
Right.
I mean, there's a nice one growing on my head at the moment, which I'm going to try and get taken off.
So
Hence a bit of the long hair at the moment, just to hide them up.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realise that.
No, the beard's there to hide a couple around my face, which I don't like, and then, there's several on my scalp, which I'm trying to hide now.
I don't think people realise, I myself included, but I don't think people realise sort of this what you're dealing with every day. You know, I think people probably just think you've got it doesn't bother you, but obviously it does bother you.
It bothers me psychologically, yes, but it doesn't bother me as much as other people have got it have. I'm very mild. There are people who've got it far worse, really bad, problems with it.
Well, I said to you once before about how it was when we were talking about doing this podcast, and I said, well, don't feel like you've got to talk about it because it doesn't define who you are. And you said you think it does because it shaped your personality.
I do. I really do think it affects me.
Okay.
Just being self-conscious, approaching people and, ask them out or anything, for example. It's very hard. If I've got to the stage where I've asked somebody out, I've got over a big hurdle to do that.
Yeah. It's a big deal. Yeah. So, is it hereditary?
It is hereditary, yes, but we don't know where it's come from. For me, okay. So my dad hasn't got it. Granddad didn't have it.
So it can skip generations then.
Well, yeah, it must do. It's come from somewhere.
Yeah.
But they actually call me a spontaneous mutation, which doesn't sound good, but that's what
sounds like a superpower.
Yeah, because there's no trace of it in family history.
Right. Oh, nowhere in your family tree.
Not that we know of.
How strange.
But I suppose it is possible that you can carry it without knowing and not show any outward signs of it. So my dad could have it without knowing, but I'm sure he's been tested.
It's just like a carrier as opposed to someone who suffers with it.
Yeah. So it's a 50-50 chance of passing it down to the children.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if male or female, it can go either way.
So you saying about swimming baths and stuff like that, does it cover like your whole body? Is it's all over your body?
Yeah.
And how did that affect you growing up then? Like,
it was terrible. I went to boarding school.
Right, okay.
So it was a lot of bullying during, shower time.
Yeah.
Not that we have specific shower time, but when you go to showers, it's obviously 8 or 9 people in the shower at the same time, and after sports and all that. So yeah, you do get a bit of ribbing. Yeah. Okay, it was friendly ribbing in a way because you're part of the community. Yeah. But it does affect you.
Yeah, it must have been terrible. Like I said, it makes me feel silly for feeling self-conscious about some of the things I feel self-conscious about, because at least things that I might be self-conscious about come and go. Whereas, I take my hat off to you for kind of rising above it. Not that you shouldn't, but you know what I mean? I know how I would be. And that must have been a real big deal to kind of just overcome it to a point where,
I still worry about it, even at work.
Really,
that people can see the stuff on my neck, and obviously in the suits is brilliant because it's all hidden.
That's
ideal. That's why kind of also why I love working there, is because I can be just the eyes.
So do you know any other people, or are you on any other groups or anything like that where you can kind of talk about your condition?
There's several communities on Facebook which we talked. Talk about and express our feelings to each other on, and how we cope with certain situations. Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it's and I mean,
it's 1 in 3,000 people.
I was just going to say
have the variant I've got. So obviously in Ilfracombe, there's going to be statistically 3 or 4 people have got it.
Right.
I do know of one person in Barnstable who's got it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. As in, I know of them. I don't know them. I know they're there.
Yeah.
We haven't reached out to each other socially yet, but we've interacted on a community Facebook page, saying, where are you from, Barnstable?
Okay.
Well, we're close.
Yeah.
That's it, really. It's actually a mutual friend. We got a mutual friend, sorry.
Oh, okay.
This person who's got it knows someone else who used to work where we used to work.
Right,
I'm not going to
No, of course, no.
But yeah, so.
Wow.
I did a tiny little bit of reading up about it before you came on, just so I kind of had a bit of an understanding and could even pronounce it, which I had a bit of practice with.
At the moment, it's uncurable,
Right.
because it's in my DNA, so they can't change your DNA yet.
And there's no medication or anything you take. It just is what it is.
You can supposedly limit growth by having turmeric. A lot of people swear by cannabis, cannabis tablets and cannabis oil and stuff like that. But I tried turmeric for a while, didn't see much effect.
All right.
So I gave up on it, really. It's something I've got. I'm living with it.
Yeah.
I
Get
can't
on with
change
it.
yeah. But hopefully there's stuff happening in the medical industry that's going to be able to notice it early, very early, and extract that bit from the gene. But that's, genetic sciences.
It's amazing what they can do, isn't it? Yeah.
They can build dinosaurs now.
Well, according to Steven Spielberg. I think with anything like that, I think it just wouldn't hurt for people that don't understand something like that, myself included, to just go and have a read about it and just kind of, have a read and educate yourself a little bit more about it, because it's easy for people to talk about it, or, if you notice this or you notice that. But, because you've got tattoos, haven't you? You've got a tattoo with the NF symbol, like a puzzle piece.
It's 2 puzzle piece, yeah. It's like a slogan, like solve the NF puzzle.
Right.
Because they're not 100% sure how they're going to cure it, but they know where it came from and how it comes. They just got to work out how to rewrite DNA to get rid of it. Yeah. Which is
easy.
Yeah.
We wish.
With enough money.
Yeah. But no, it's crazy. And I mean, this is usually a bit of a sort of jokey thing at the Green Room. We don't talk about too many serious subjects, but I was really keen on talking about this with you, just because, one, it gives you the chance to put across what you're dealing with, and also that it can be hurtful when you hear or see things, but also just to raise a bit of awareness about it, because I don't think a lot of people know anything about it. I think meeting you and you dealing with it was the first time I was ever aware that this was a condition. But I really appreciate you sort of being willing to talk about it. And you know what I'm like, if I'm given permission to talk about something, I'll ask you questions and all this lot, but because I'm interested. So go and educate yourself, guys. Neurofibromatosis, NF.
Yes.
Is that right? Did I say that right?
NF1. Yes. The problem with Google is don't take the pictures you see on there as everything.
No,
what Google's like.
Worst case
scenario, horrific. Which, some people really got it bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. I'm quite mild at the moment. But, it affects me. Affects my social life.
But it shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
You had a boogie on the dance floor the other day. That was good to see. Get on. Few beers.
My many buddies.
Yeah. He's available. Ooh, that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing moments time. Once again. And I'm loving these. I'm loving them. I haven't done one for myself for the last couple of episodes, I don't think. But it's because I felt like I was running out of them. And it's strange how suddenly you're like, oh my God, I just remembered another one. And I remembered one this week. Not necessarily the one I'm going to do for this episode, but I don't know. I think it's just kind of that I stopped taking myself overly seriously around a certain age. So most of my embarrassing moments are up to that age. And I think maybe I just kind of lightened up a bit and stopped, thinking everything was such a big deal. But, the ones I've got are quite embarrassing for myself. What about you? Have you got many?
I've struggled to think of anything that's really embarrassing. Okay. But I'm sure there are ones in my mind which...
So is that because you haven't done anything embarrassing, or just because you don't get embarrassed easily, or...?
Neither of those. I think I just lock them away because they're so embarrassing. My mind goes...
Put them in a vault.
Don't remember that.
Yeah, right. Imagine going to like some hypnotherapy and having it all unlocked. You'd need therapy to get over that, wouldn't you?
I would, yeah.
So, okay, well, do you want to go first?
I can do, yes.
Alex Bond, on episode 007 of The Green Room, what is your embarrassing moment?
Well, it was a few years ago when I was married with my wife. Obviously, wife.
Okay, you were married to your wife.
Yeah.
That's strange.
So, she played darts for the local teams, and I was going down to support her in a darts match. So I didn't really know her team, so I thought it'd be a good idea to go down, meet the team, meet her, give her some support. So I was walking downtown to meet her, and she was in the high street with her back to me, talking to her team friends. So I thought, I'm going to surprise her. So I walked up behind her. Because her friends didn't know me, they didn't clock me coming, so there was no indication to my wife that I was approaching her. I went right up to behind her, smacked her ass really hard. I went, "Hello, gorgeous, how you doing?" Her friends turned to me and looked at that abject shock of horror. And my wife turned around to me and said, well, she didn't say anything because it wasn't my wife.
What?
It was someone completely different. So I'd gone up to a complete stranger who I didn't know, smacked her on the arse, and gone, "Hello, gorgeous."
Oh my God. So, hang on.
So she's very similar to my wife from the back.
Were the people she was talking to, were they even part of the darts team?
No, like I said, I didn't know the darts team. Yeah. So I just assumed the person that looked like my wife from behind and these people she was talking to was the darts team.
That's horrendous.
Yes.
So, okay, so so how did you get out of that?
I just said, "Shh, I'm sorry, I thought you were someone else." And she just looked at me with that sort of daggers. And I just walked away.
That's insane.
And then she came into the pub where my wife actually was during the evening later on.
Did you go up to her and kind of try and explain it and say, "This is who I thought you were"?
No. How can you say that? You look like this person, you know. Yeah.
I take it...
Just from the back, the hair was the same. She was actually wearing the same sort of coat as well, so it must have been one of the local fashion ones at the time. But yeah.
Do you know what?
Tom completely around, smacked both buttocks, both hands, wallop.
I've heard some excuses of why you might want to touch up a woman you don't know, but that one is the best. I can't believe... I don't know how I would recover from that.
I felt so small.
That's... how long ago was this?
Oh, this must have been, 13, 14 years ago, maybe.
The reason I ask is because something like that, now, there would be a photo of you on Gossip Around Ilfracombe.
Yeah,
So
yeah there would be, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
like social media,
how things have changed in that time.
Yeah.
It was kind of... that would have been something that haunted you forever if that happened now. Whereas back then, luckily, it was just... That's horrendous. I can't believe that. So did you?
You'd be done for assault now, wouldn't you?
You would, yeah, you would.
Probably.
Oh my God, that's probably based on how embarrassed I would be of all the embarrassing moments we've had on the green room. I think that would be the one I would least want to happen to me.
Yeah.
I had a similar thing at work once, not naming names, but. Okay, where we work in one of the departments, we wear these silly suits, don't we?
Yeah.
And everyone looks the same pretty much because only your face is showing. And I walked up behind someone once and made them jump, thinking it was one person, and they turned around and it was someone that I knew but didn't know well enough to do that kind of thing too. And I was mortified. I was like, I'm so sorry. Luckily, she took it really well. But that's completely different. That's someone that I know and that just kind of laughed it off. But
that probably happens more often than we realise on the shop floor because you go and talk to someone from thinking it's someone else.
Yeah.
Make a silly comment like you would jokingly, and it's not the right person. Yeah, you've got to be so careful.
Alex,
with those suits on,
That's amazing. I love that one. That is is that my favourite? You know, Emma Irwin's naked one was great. But slapping a random woman's ass in the high street, only to find out
in front of a group of people as
well. I know. Oh my God, that's brilliant. I can't top that. But I threw a couple at you, didn't I? All the titles of my embarrassing moments. Yeah. And you seemed interested in the blood test one.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll tell you that one. And it's not horrendously embarrassing. And I've tried to explain this to people and justify it, but they seem to love to latch on to one element of this story. And okay, I'll start from the beginning. So I had to go to the doctors for some blood tests for whatever reason. I forget what it was. Maybe allergy related. I forget what it was. And I went to the doctors, a morning appointment, quite early in the morning. I went and sat in the chair. I was anxious to the point where I don't like needles, but that's as far as it went. I wasn't crapping myself. I wasn't really, really dreading it. It was just one of those things. It's fairly unpleasant, but I wasn't overly bothered. So I went in the morning and went in, sat in the chair, and there was a lady there. She's getting the syringes ready, blah, blah, blah. We're having a little conversation. She asked my date of birth. I give her my date of birth, and weirdly,
she said, that's my son's date of birth. She said exactly the same day, month, year. And we were discussing about what time what time of day he was born, just to see how close we were to being born at the same time. So I'm quite relaxed at this point. I'm not anxious or anything like that. But while this is happening, she puts this syringe in my left arm, and we're chatting away, and I'm thinking, this is going all right, considering I don't like blood tests. And she says, I said, that's strange. I'm not that vein doesn't want to really give me anything. And I looked down. And I said, oh, really? Does that happen very often? She went, yeah, occasionally. I said, what do you do? She said, we'll just try another vein. She says, okay, and or I say, okay, and so she takes it out, and while she's getting another syringe ready, she is walking over to the the rack where the other syringes are. And at this point, I'm still feeling fine. And then all of a sudden, I feel a little bit queasy, a little bit weird. And I said to her, oh, I don't feel very well. And she looks at me and she goes, Wayne, next thing, I'm laid back in the chair, kind of like a dentist chair. And I'm coming around and there's another nurse there. And I don't know how long I was out, but there's another nurse there and I've passed out. And they're going, Wayne. And it's like a dream scene out of a film. She's going, Wayne. No, he's still not with us, is he? And I could see them. I was aware of what was going on, but obviously not really giving him any kind of signs of life. And I eventually came round, and I felt horrible. And they I tried to get up. They said, no, stay sitting down, stay lying down, and all this kind of thing. And so I passed out having this blood test, which is the bit that everyone likes to latch on to because, oh, you were so queasy, you passed out having a blood test. Well, they made me sit there for ages, and then eventually they let me stand up, and they wouldn't let me leave the wait. I had to go and sit in the waiting room, and they wouldn't let me leave the waiting room until I'd kind of felt back to normal, But what everyone laughs at, because they're like, oh, you were so queasy. It turned out that it was actually because I hadn't eaten anything. They said, have you eaten anything this morning? I said, no, I had a cup of coffee with no sugar. And they said, oh, you must eat something. People do this all the time. They come in, their blood pressure's so low. And that's what happened. I wish I could remember what my blood pressure was, but they recorded it and it was ridiculously low. And that's all it was. But it was embarrassing to the point where I passed out in the doctor's surgery, and I had to go and sit in the waiting room. They wouldn't let me leave until I'd kind of come round properly. But it's the fact that everyone finds it highly entertaining because they like to see it from a point of view where I saw a needle and passed out, and it wasn't that. No matter how much I explain it, people don't believe that it was because I hadn't eaten anything and I had low blood pressure. So not really an embarrassing moment so much. It was a bit awkward, but there you go.
It's embarrassing to you, but no one else witnessed it.
No,
apart from nurses.
No, apart from the nurses, yeah. But there you go. And it's never happened since. I had to go back for a blood test about 2 weeks later, and I was really anxious about it because I thought, what if it happens again? And when you're so worried about something, you can almost bring it on yourself. I was worried about it, and it went absolutely fine. No problems. I am squeamish, but I'm not in the habit of passing out when I have a blood test, apart from that one time. So that's it. That's embarrassing moments for episode 7, 007 on the Green Room.
Excellent. Cheers.
So as I mentioned earlier about the Facebook post, you responded to my Ghosts and UFOs post, and you put something in the comments that was quite interesting. You put, having lived with a presence and seen a UFO,
that's correct.
You'd be up for coming on. So I should probably just say that I'm not an expert on anything UFOs or any kind of anything to do with ghosts.
Neither am I.
I've just got a real interest in it and my own theories and beliefs. So let's start with your ghost experience.
My ghost. So that was in the first house I remember living in. So it was the second house I actually lived in. But
was it an old house?
Fairly old house, yes. There was like a presence in the room, or it felt like there was. So you just had this sense there was something else there.
Okay.
But you'd occasionally get weird happenings, like there was a chimney flue in the room, which was all boarded up, and very occasionally that would start to rattle and make noises. It was a cut-off chimney, so there wasn't any wildlife that got caught in it. There was no way that could happen.
Right.
And the house itself had this sort of feeling about it. So my mother says she remembers a time where my dad came in from work after going to a restaurant or a pub, walked up the stairs, and as he got to the top of the stairs, all the sound stopped. There was no noise at all. So Mum was sitting in bed for about 10 minutes thinking, oh, what's going on? So she went out and my dad wasn't there. And he'd fallen asleep downstairs in the living room and hadn't actually come upstairs, he said, in the morning.
No.
Yeah. It was one of these houses where the staircase has certain characteristics.
Yeah.
You've got a step that creaks and then you get something else that would squeak.
There's
so
a
you know
little
if
crack
someone's
and-
coming up, you
yeah.
know someone's coming up. If they're going down, you know they're going down.
Yeah.
So she definitely heard someone come up the stairs, assuming it was my father. But he was downstairs and never came upstairs. I also remember as a young kid, it must have been about 10, 11, that I was lying in bed, so we had the landing light on, so there's a little bit of light in the room. I saw something flickering at the end of my bed. It sort of looked like an imp sort of shape, dancing around at the end. And I went to the edge of the bed to have a look over, and there was nothing there. But I vividly remember seeing something. It wasn't just a trick of the imagination or a shadow.
Yeah.
I really do remember there was something there. So this chimney flume was rattling, and this imp, and the sense that there was something there makes me believe that there is something to another dimension. We've recently found, after we moved, that the next family that lived there, the boy of the family who wouldn't sleep in that room, wouldn't go in there. There was something about the room he did not like, refused to go in there.
That's weird.
So there was definitely a peculiarity about the room, and I really do believe that maybe there is this sense that there is another dimension which we're not particularly aware of, that we might bounce against.
Well, it's a funny thing to talk about from my point of view, because I don't consider myself religious. And maybe do you have to be religious to believe in that there's some kind of residue left behind when you die?
I doubt it.
Because I wonder if maybe if you believe in ghosts, then you're believing in heaven and an afterlife, which is often related to religion because of,
Depends how you look at it, because if you think about a ghost or a poltergeist doing things deliberately, that would mean that there must be mind mass, because the work is done by electrical signals in your brain.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some sort of mass to be able to have a thought process, to be able to say, oh, I'm going to knock that off the shelf. So where do you draw the line of what is a poltergeist? Is it just an energy build-up? Is it a spirit with a proper thought process?
I don't know.
If that's the case, is it just like a very slight movement into another dimension?
I don't know anything about dimensions. I obviously I hear stuff about it, but I know very, very little about it. But some people would just be really quick to dismiss it and just go,
You're tired, your mind's playing tricks.
Yeah, or just that it's ridiculous. There's no concrete proof. Same with aliens and stuff. There's no concrete proof, this. But something about human beings is we kind of have to know everything. But we don't really entertain the fact that there's probably a lot of stuff that we either couldn't understand or just haven't been able to document or find or discover yet. There are certain things that I don't really believe in, but I'm open-minded to a lot of other stuff. And I don't necessarily believe in heaven. I don't really want to get into the whole religion thing. I don't really believe in heaven, but I like the idea that there is something after. I don't like the idea that you just die and then that's it. You cease to exist. I like the idea that maybe you go on to something else. So maybe I contradict myself with the religion thing there. But I certainly believe that, religious or not, something is left behind when someone dies. There's too much documented, I don't want to say evidence, but there's too much documentation of these kind of things. Demonic possession and exorcisms, they're recognized by the Vatican. And I just kind of think if there's some kind of malevolent force or presence, then maybe there's got to be some good presence. Maybe you've got to entertain the idea that maybe these people that have had exorcisms, maybe they put it down a lot of the time to mental illness. They've said some people were schizophrenic and stuff like that. So for every argument for, there's always an argument against. But maybe I just like the idea that there's something, and that's where my fascination comes from.
You were sort of talking there, just made me remember that my aunt's house as well, they had to have that house exorcised.
Really?
Because they had a picture a picture frame of an old general, which was supposedly possessed. It caused all sorts of problems.
Okay.
Always, I can't remember exactly what the problems were, but once they had the house exercised, as it were, these strange sort of things stopped happening.
So how do they go about that? Do they
I think they got some guy, some priest or something in just to do something. I can't remember the full details. I'm very young when I heard about it.
Yeah.
But you just talking about exercising there just clicked in my head. Oh, remember that.
Well, you hear all different stories and you see videos, and maybe I'm a little bit easily influenced, but I've seen some stuff that's weird on YouTube and on Facebook. There was one of a guy that gets called to a room in a hotel, and he's on his CB. Have you seen that? Someone reported screaming in a room, so they go and check it out, and they went in there, and I can't remember, the whole place was a mess and stuff, and there was...
Anything on YouTube's faked, I think,
well,
to be honest.
Yeah,
you see the videos,
know.
We caught this ghost. Well, okay, why were you filming that bit in the first place?
Yeah.
It's totally bizarre to be standing in a bush filming a wall.
Yeah, it's very convenient. yeah, you just happen to catch this spirit. When I was a kid, my parents both worked full time, but they had a couple of cleaning jobs on the side as well, just for a bit of extra money. And we used to clean a solicitor's office, or my mum and dad used to clean a solicitor's office back in my hometown. And one of the rooms in this building was, I think it was the library or something or other. And apparently there was a ghost in there called Harry. That's all I remember. I was quite young. And we all had jobs, so mine was usually emptying the bins. I was probably about 10 or something. Mine was emptying the bins. My brother's was cleaning up the coffee cups and stuff like that. And when we did the job, we'd all turn all the lights out, come back down the stairs, and go back to the car in the car park at the back of the building. Now, when you looked at the building, the top left window was the library, Harry's room. I think it was Harry. And so many times we'd come down and the light was on. And my mum and dad would go, "Oh, Harry's turned the light back on," or "Someone's left the light on." And I don't know if maybe it was just them, damn it, I've left the light on, I blame it on the ghost, or whether it was genuinely, I'll have to ask them, that they would turn the light out, but we'd get down to the car park and the light would be on. Someone would have to go back in and turn the light off. And my mum actually fell down the stairs on the landing that the door to the library was to, and broke her wrist. And I'm sure I remember her saying, and again, I don't know if she was joking, but I'm sure I remember her saying that she felt like she'd been sort of pushed or something. I probably should have got my facts straight before I said this, but that's my memory of it. So, I don't know. That's that. And also, where we work, recently, it's built on what used to be the old train station,
yes,
as you know. And so I'm sure there's plenty. If there is such a thing as a ghostly plane, then there's going to be a fair few presences there. And isn't there something to do with...
You don't work night shifts. You must have heard about Station Master.
Well, yeah, this is kind of where I was going with it, because recently I was at work and I was turning round to do something, and I felt just at the top of like my lower back, basically. I felt just like some gentle pressure, and I'm not making this up. This is the only claim I've got to anything dodgy like this. I felt pressure, almost like someone had just given me a nudge, not violently or anything, just a nudge. And I turned around thinking I was caught on something, or maybe the guy I was working with was near me. No one was around me. I wasn't caught on anything. And I even said at the time, that was weird. And my work colleague said, "What?" And I told him what had gone on. It was really strange because I could not explain it. The only thing that it could have been is a muscle spasm, but it didn't feel like a muscle spasm. It felt like something physically just sort of nudging me, like almost with their fingertips. And the next day I went into work, and my work colleague had passed this on to the other guy that I work with. And he said, "Oh, I hear you got touched up by the train conductor last night." I said, "Oh, what?" And he said, "Yeah, apparently there's accounts of the old train conductor haunting the premises."
Yeah.
And it didn't really freak me out. It interested me more than anything. But that's I've worked there 14 years. That's the only time I've ever seen or heard anything.
I've not had any experiences to say to relate to the station master, but I've certainly heard stories or heard accounts of him around or her.
It's strange because the guy that said, I heard you got touched up by the train conductor, is one of those people that I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying that he's one of those people that kind of is quite dismissive about it and he doesn't really believe it, but he does admit he can't explain what he saw one night. And that was, he was finishing work and he was driving home. It was about midnight. And he was driving out of the building, just down the side from one end of the factory to the other. Yeah. And it was dark and it was some years ago. And he said he saw like a dark figure cross the road where the compactors are and with a torch. And he said, I thought it was a bit weird at the time. And I looked, he said, and he went round the back of like the compactors and stuff. And he said, I slowed the car down and looked. He said, there was nothing there. And when he mentioned it at work the following day, they said, oh, that'll be the train conductor. Apparently haunts the premises. But this is all news to me. I've learnt this in the last sort of 6 weeks.
All right.
I'd never heard of it. In 14 years, I'd never heard anything about it. Oh. But yeah, very strange.
But there is, it's enough evidence to think that maybe there is something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't necessarily, I don't know, it's difficult to explain, but because I had lived with the presence, I won't discount it ever.
Did you ever have any kind of temperature fluctuations? You know, they associate...
My body or the room temperature, you mean?
The room temperature.
Not really, no. But just like the chimney stack would vibrate and a cupboard door would slowly open, just off, occasionally.
That's so creepy.
It's like, yeah, but being young at the time, I know we weren't brought up with the fact, there's a ghost in there. Well, don't be scared and all that. It didn't really freak me out. It was just because I was young.
Yeah,
it was like my buddy, my imaginary friend.
I think there's got to be something, hasn't there? I
So to say imaginary friends, that's another thing. Children get imaginary friends. Are they more keyed into something strange than an adult is? Because an adult's told to hide it in their mind, discount it. As they get older, they're told, well, there's no such thing. Your brain hides it away. Yeah,
you're more susceptible to things, I guess, because you haven't been influenced by those theories and told that's not the case. No, I agree. I always think kids are even more creepier in sort of films, horror films and stuff. You put a kid in a horror film and it's creepy, but yeah, I've heard that they are more in touch with that kind of thing. But I wonder how it works. Well, I could speak to Hayley about this, but I wonder how it works with adults that claim to be able to be in touch with all of that. Whether it's just a gift, or I'm sure it's not something you can learn. I'm sure it must just be something that maybe some people are in touch with. Just their minds.
I think that's how they find they can do it, is because they realise that they're seeing more things.
Yeah.
Or tuning to better things. But I don't think you can buy a book from the library and...
How to speak to ghosts.
Yeah.
No. No.
I'm not taking the piss out of them.
No.
I can do it. But I don't think something you can learn. It's something you are able to do.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's something that maybe is just, say, a gift, don't you? But maybe the podcast listeners can let us know, or the video watchers, if you've had any experiences with ghosts, the supernatural, if you can contact spirits or anything like that. I'm hearing the tone in my voice and I sound like I'm being sarcastic. I'm actually not. I'm being serious. Let us know. Just usually the Facebook page is the best place to post, but I think all these podcast sites, Podbean, Acast, Castbox, all that lot, I think there is a comment section that you can do. I will pick up all the comments. So let us know if you've had any ghostly goings on and any kind of supernatural experiences.
Movie of the Week.
It's Movie of the Week time again, and my Movie of the Week this week is a film that came out in 2008 and stars Ricky Gervais, Tia Leone and Greg Kinnear. I thought it only right to do a ghost-themed Movie of the Week since it's a belated Halloween episode. Having said that, this isn't a horror film. It's kind of a heartwarming, supernatural, romantic comedy, if that's such a thing. So Ricky Gervais plays a dentist living in New York City who goes about his life trying his best to avoid human contact as much as possible and generally not being all that nice. After a routine operation where he finds out he died on the operating table for 9 minutes, he develops the ability to see ghosts, and when the ghosts realise this, they all want his help to complete their unfinished business so they can pass on. In amongst all this, he finds himself attracted to Tia Leone, a recently widowed neighbour whose cheating husband, Greg Kinnear, is one of the ghosts that's after Ricky Gervais's help. It's a really nice film, and it's one of those that always gets me slightly choked towards the end, kind of hoping Kaz won't look around and see me trying to be all manly. As always, I'll put a link to the trailer on the Facebook page. Give it a watch and let me know in the comments what you think. So that's my movie of the week for episode 7 or 007 of The Green Room, Ghost Town. Names you wouldn't call your baby. Well, it's that time again, folks. It's names you wouldn't call your baby time.
Oh, yeah.
You've got one?
I've got one.
We've had some interesting ones.
I've got two, but one's...
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't call it James, but there you go.
You wouldn't call it James. Well, that's funny, though, because what's your middle name?
James.
It is.
It was going to be my first name.
Really?
Yeah, but my parents said, no, probably won't put them through that.
So I've got to ask you then, for anyone that doesn't know, your name is Alex James Bond.
It is.
I think I've asked you this before, but for some reason it always goes out of my head. Was that intentional by your parents, or was it just a complete chance thing?
In what sense?
Making your middle name James when your surname is
my
Bond?
My first name was going to be James, but then the movies became really popular.
Okay.
So they thought maybe that would be a bad move.
Yeah.
So they put it as my middle name.
Well, it's funny because we were talking about this on a previous episode, and we said about the whole people not recognising when they call their kids, like, Richard when the surname's Head and things like that. I don't think you've got to have a particularly kind of dirty mind to realise that can be made a joke out of. But that's really interesting. I remember, I don't know if I can say, you put your username in on the computer at work one time, and
oh yeah.
Can we say that
yeah,
or not?
Go on,
Yeah, and it was Bond AJ, and I just went bondage. And you went, what? I went, your username. And you were like, and you started giggling. Like, I've never even noticed that. Obviously, it's not spelt in the conventional way, but anyway. So names you wouldn't call your baby. We digressed again, but I think people are getting used to it. Names you wouldn't call your baby. If you haven't heard the podcast before, or you haven't watched the videos before, it's a little feature we do, and it's just a little funny feature where we look at names that you just wouldn't call a tiny little innocent baby because the name's sort of old. It only suits an adult. There are names that are dying out. My name is one of them, which is kind of what spurred the whole thing, really. I saw a list on Facebook one time of names that were in danger of dying out because they hadn't been registered up to that time of the year, and my name was one of them. So although I'm making fun of certain people's names, I'm making fun of myself at the same time. So what have we had so far? We've had
Megatron.
Megatron, that was Rob Yo. We've had Dave, Brian. No, we didn't have Dave, sorry. Dave was on.
Yeah.
And he said Trevor, sorry. But I mean, come on, Dave. Brian. Derek was last week, and that was Paul Holman. Yeah. And Derek's my favourite so far, actually. So no pressure or anything.
Okay.
But so you've thought of a name?
I've got a name.
Okay, right.
It's okay.
Well, okay. Well,
do you want the history of it? No.
Give us the history of it. Yeah.
Well, it's my uncle's name.
Okay.
So, but it's a bit of a name you sort of say, if you saw that with a baby, you'd think, what an unusual name. But it was obviously popular back when he was born. 60 odd years ago. And
I wonder, but like we've said before, certain older names have a tendency of coming back and being quite trendy, but there are certain names that I can't imagine Gary being trendy again. I can't imagine Brian being trendy again. I might be wrong, and I apologise to anyone with those names.
With this name, there's a few celebrities with this name, so it is a well-known name.
Okay.
But it's one you don't associate with a baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm interested. So, Alex, congratulations on your little brown furry baby. It looks very much like Jack Nash's baby, actually. I'm not going to ask what you've been doing, but healthy? Everything
very
good?
healthy, yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I know I shouldn't ask, but male or female?
Male.
Oh, it's male, of course, because your uncle's name, isn't it?
Yes.
So what did you go for?
Well, this is little Keith.
Keith. That's brilliant, because I said on previous episode about it being your mate's dad's name from the
Yes.
80s.
Yeah.
And Keith is a very, correct me if I'm wrong, Keith is a very, very 70s, 80s kind of name, I think. My dad's mate was
Probably
called
a bit
Keith.
earlier, because you got Keith
Really?
Moon, Keith Floyd.
Yes.
Lots of Keiths around the 60s, 70s age now.
Keith.
So you're looking back at the 1940s.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course I'm thinking of like how old I was when he was an adult. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and it weird. Like I say the 80s because although I did most of my growing up in the 90s, I was born in 79, so and all my parents' dads were like Keith and now I've gone blank and I can't think of any.
My dad's name, Jeff.
Jeff.
You don't,
Baby Jeff.
You don't. There's not names you'd associate as you. The whole point of this thing that you associate with a.
Yeah, I went to school with a Jeff. So is it Jeff Jeff or
No,
Geoff?
Jeoff.
Okay, Baby Keith.
Baby Keith.
I like it, mate. I like it. And I've got nothing against the fact that we went on to Megatron and we went on to Adolf, and I do think Adolf's probably going to win the season finale. I'm going to throw my little offering in, but I've got a sneaking suspicion. I hope this video and this podcast isn't going to influence people's voting, if anyone even gets involved with it. But I've got a sneaking suspicion that Adolf might win, just because it's...
Put a little poll on the Facebook page.
Oh!
That's the Green Room on Facebook, yeah?
Poll, as in
poll.
Poland.
No?
I thought thought
No.
that was like a little... That's just my sick mind. I apologise. Right, so here we go.
Oh.
Alex Bond.
3, 4.
Alex Bond. These are the names. It's getting a bit battered and worn because we use this room as a room to do other things as well. Take that however you want. And this is what we've got so far. We've got Dave Petty, aka DP, Trevor, Danny Lamosa, Adolf, Rob Yo, Megatron, Jack Nash, Brian, Emma Irwin, Apple, Paul Holman, Derek. I'm still liking Derek, but I've got to put yours on, which is very good. Alex Bond 007. And we're going for Keith. Kei?
Yeah, Keith.
So anyone listening to this podcast will have recognised by now that I'm terrible at spelling. I think every name I've written on here, I've had to ask my guest how to spell it. So Alex Bond 007 goes for Baby Keith. So I mentioned earlier about the UFO thing and the video I saw on the Joe Rogan podcast with David Fravor, I think his name was, the Navy pilot who had one of the, I think, only 2 credible accounts of UFOs. And that's what spurred me wanting to talk about that on this episode, just because I watched it, and I'll put a link to the video on the Facebook page, just because, you hear a lot of, and I suppose they're referred to as kooks, people that I saw a UFO and all this kind of thing. But this guy is so precise in his account, and he's a retired captain, and everything he says, he's like so detailed with everything. And also something that was really interesting about his story is that it's not classified in any way. He actually says on the video that no one said don't talk about it. It wasn't classified. He was allowed, no one really knew exactly what this thing was that they witnessed. But like ghosts and things like that, I'm open-minded to anything. And I think it's more absurd, the possibility that we are just this amazing accident and that we are the only possibility of intelligent life on any planet in the whole galaxy. I think that's more absurd than the idea that there is another, there's life on other planets, and maybe even more advanced than ours, or just even like single-celled organisms. Everyone thinks of little green men when they think of aliens. I do believe that there's a possibility that there is an intelligent race that
maybe visits us or whatever, but an intelligent race out there. But there has to be some kind of life on other planets.
Definitely.
I think
There's no question.
No, exactly.
How big? There's billions of stars in our galaxy. How many galaxies in the universe? There's no doubt there is some sort of life on another planet. But saying that, there's no way they're the visitors.
Why is that?
Right. The closest star is 4,000 light years away. Right. So travelling at light speed is going to take a civilization 4,000 years to reach us if they were at the closest star.
Okay.
Yeah. How many generations would that be for us? 40,000 continuing generations. Yep. The human race has only been a human race for how many years? 3, 4 or 5,000 years maybe as an intelligent species. We're slowly dying out, I would say, or we're going to evolve beyond a state of being human. If you think about the distance travelled, what's going to happen in that light speed, that 4,000 years, a generation is going to evolve and die out before it gets to us.
Human beings or an intelligent
being, as I suppose. I mean, we've only been around for a very small period of time compared to how big the universe is.
Yeah.
A civilization becoming intelligent enough in the same tiny bracket of time the universe has been created and still get to us in that time is huge, billions to one chance. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying, but that's
small scope of life of where we are, the small scope of life that another generation or civilization would get at the same time meeting each other within their small bucket of existence.
But that's basing their biology on our biology, which might not be the case. Okay. Everything's got its own lifespan. So what if this intelligent race's lifespan was significantly longer than ours? What if they had cryogenics? It's.
But then you're getting onto the point here. By the time they've got to us, they'll be so advanced, or whatever, that they might look at us like we look at an ant.
Yeah.
We're nothing. We're not what they are looking for as a species. They'll be looking for this ultimate super being, as it were.
Yeah.
They might even realise that we've actually got an intelligence. Because if we look at an ant farm, how complex that is. To an ant, that's probably like...
Oh, God, yeah.
Their sophistication, they're that brilliant.
Yeah.
But we look at our sophistication might be chalk and cheese to them.
What makes me laugh is how we refer to ourselves as the intelligent species, and yet we're the one species on the planet that are living our lives out of harmony with our environment. You look at every other species on the planet, they're all doing what they're supposed to do in harmony with nature, and we are killing the planet. We're polluting the planet, and yet we call ourselves the intelligent species.
I think we're spending billions of pounds trying to get to Mars or whatever, but we're not spending any money on keeping ourselves alive on this one.
I know. I think they've written it off, and that's why they're like, well, we can't really go backwards, so we've just got to go find somewhere else to go.
But then, have we come from somewhere else before? And essentially, what we would say, reset ourselves. Brought a generation to this planet, started from scratch, let it evolve. We're starting to just learn what we can do. Then we're going to do the same again. Leave this planet, start again, maybe with a reverse generation. What would build it up again? Because they always say there's always conspiracy theories about certain families controlling the world.
Yeah,
Rothschilds and Freemasons, things like that, and which they're not. So I know that from first-hand experience. Okay. So what do we know? What's keeping back from us? Has the Rothschilds been a super race, as it were, who are evolving us to a point where we can then bugger off somewhere else? And there's a lot of stuff we don't know is possible.
Well, what would be ironic about that is all these sci-fi movies where aliens are invading the planet and we've got to save the world and all this kind of thing. That would make us that species that from say you go to another planet and there's some kind of life form there. We would be the invaders. We would be the ones that, and we do it now. I remember watching The Matrix for the first time, and Agent Smith says something that I'd never thought of, and it was brilliant. Hugo Weaving says humans are like a virus.
Yeah.
We move to an area, we consume every natural resource until it's gone, and then we move on. We're like locusts. And you see these sci-fi films and the aliens are there and they're going from planet to planet. If we could bounce from planet to planet to planet, that is exactly what we'd be doing. We'd be the alien invaders because that's what we do.
Yeah.
It's strange to think of it.
I mean, there's a theory as well that planet Earth is actually our method of transport at the moment.
Okay.
Because although we're travelling around the sun or whatever speed we are, the whole solar system is also travelling through the universe
Right.
at a speed. So we are still moving as a planet
Yeah.
around the sun, but also we're moving in a certain direction. The whole thing is shifting through the universe.
That's interesting. I've never heard that theory before.
Well,
No.
yeah, you should look it up. We're all sort of, everything's moving
Yeah.
in relation to each other, but we're at the whole galaxy as well is shooting off at God knows what speed through the universe. It's why these flat Earth theories and that saying, we can't be because people will fall off.
Yeah.
But no, it's momentum.
Don't get me started on flat
Yeah.
Earth.
Okay.
So
I'm a believer.
Oh God.
No, I'm not.
Well, in regards to UFOs,
Yeah,
then.
sorry.
No, yeah. Well, you said. Did you say you've seen a UFO?
I've seen a UFO.
Okay.
Now, obviously, UFO is unidentified flying
Yeah,
object.
it doesn't mean alien.
No. So it was 2001. I remember that, which year it was. I was working at a call centre in Ilfracombe, just up the road from the high street, and I was doing night shift. So it was end of the night shift, about 6 o'clock in the morning. The phones had been quiet. I was just looking out the window, and there was something floating in the air, just slowly moving across from left to right. Not fast enough to be a plane, not slow enough to fall out of the sky.
Okay.
Now, it was a long cylindrical shape, had a bulbous end to it.
Oh, you saw it quite clearly then?
I saw it quite clearly, clear as day, clear as that car over there. I was looking at it, and it had sort of like a wing strut, as it were, going across it. So it definitely wasn't a plane. And unfortunately, this was before we had camera phones and everything,
Yeah.
so otherwise we would have taken a photograph of it. It looked very much like Mir used to look like.
Mia.
Mir, do you remember the Russian space station?
No.
All right, there was a space station
I'll
called
Google
Mir.
it.
Yeah, and it was about the sort of time that they were crashing it. So it was decaying orbit, so they're going to let it just fall back to Earth and burn up in the atmosphere.
Right.
It looked very similar to that, so it could have been that. But it was so clear, the detail was so defined that I don't think it would have been.
Right.
But it was just, to this day, I've not found anyone else mention it on, because you look at the journal, so someone would have said, oh, did you see that thing flying over Ilfracombe at 6 in the morning? Yeah, it was totally unidentified, but it wasn't moving as fast enough for a plane. It didn't look like a plane. It just looked odd.
Yeah.
It looked alien, let's say, looked like a spacecraft, I suppose.
Well, that's the other thing is,
But it wasn't, clearly.
but that's the thing with UFO. You say UFO, everyone thinks you mean alien. It's a UFO, like you said, is unidentified flying object. You're not saying it's piloted by a little green man. You're saying I've seen something in the sky that I can't identify.
Yeah. So yeah, as I say, I couldn't take a photograph of it. There was absolutely no one else on the high street or walking past. I'd have opened the window and said, "Can you see that?"
So what time of day was this?
It was about 6:30 in the morning.
Oh, right.
So it was after night shift. People say, "Oh, you were just tired.
Yeah.
You know, your brain was playing tricks on you."
You're usually buzzed at that time, though, aren't you? 'Cause I don't know about you. I was always wide awake when I finished.
If I not work in the call centre.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Horrid
Yeah.
job, you know.
yeah. It depends where
Answering
you're working.
the phone.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So this is definitely UFO, but I like I said, it was about the time that the Mir was being deliberately crashed back into the atmosphere. But looking at the flight path, which way it was going, it wouldn't be where it was going,
Yeah.
because they wouldn't crash it over England, because it crashed over the Sahara or something, which is in a different direction to where it was flying, as it were.
Have you Googled it or anything?
No, I haven't. I didn't. No, because
Might be worth Googling it and just put 2001, just see if anything comes up, like, you know.
it might be.
Yeah.
Good to do that. Yeah.
So,
it was silvery, but the end of it was sort of browny. So I just remember it like a domey at the front,
Yeah.
cylindrical back, and then what could be solar panel type things across the top. So it might have been the satellite.
see, there's the theory as well that Area 51, I've got to talk about Area 51. There's a theory that there aren't any weird goings on as far as extraterrestrials, and that all these things that people claim to see in the sky could just be top secret aircraft that the government are developing at, say, Area 51.
Of course it is.
And of course they don't want anyone to know, because they don't want other countries and enemies kind of getting the technology, etc.
But going by that sort of thing, we should have aliens in our place of work. Because we've got confidentiality agreements. You don't let people know what we're doing here.
Yeah, I'm sure you've got people working at Area 51 laughing, going, the whole world thinks we've got aliens here, and, you know.
Yeah, we got a piece of metal that doesn't fly.
Yeah. Well, I was reading about Roswell, and I saw a really good documentary about it so long ago that I can't really remember loads of details about it. But I was reading about it today and everything about how that it was, the official word is that it was a weather balloon. Yeah. But in this conspiracy theory book that I bought, and I put a picture up on the Facebook page, I was reading about it, and there's different conspiracies. But there's a theory that maybe they were testing nuclear weapons, and that they were planning on taking a nuclear weapon up out of the atmosphere via a weather balloon and detonating it, but because it all went wrong and it could have potentially wiped out, all of Roswell, etc., that's the reason they want to keep it quiet. So it's not all UFO related, but the documentary I saw, there were accounts from people, and they said that the metallic material that was recovered had this weird, like, you could scrunch it up and let it go and it would just completely flatten itself again, almost. You know what I mean?
Kind of what I mean, yes.
Yeah.
Malleable. It's malleable. And
return back to its normal state.
Memory foam type thing.
But with foil.
Yeah.
And, you hear all these things where people were told not to talk about it and all that. I love the idea that Area 51 is some big government facility
all the
for
people
aliens.
that work there, and they fly aircrafts to the workers in each day, don't they? How would they keep something secret? All those people that've been in and out, at some point someone's going to take a sneaky photo. Here's your aliens. Why has no one done that?
Well, it wasn't. It depends what kind of power the government's got, and you always hear about these. They bump people off, and it's a suicide or whatever. Who knows? But the Area 51 wasn't recognised by the government until 2013. Right. Even though it's been there since, I think, 1947 or something, it actually wasn't officially recognised by the government until 2013. And there's a no-fly zone over it, even that goes up to space. I read the no-fly zone is right up to space, so apparently you can't get like satellites, or you couldn't. I can't remember if you can or you couldn't.
Right.
Although you can get.
How are they going to control that one then?
Well, I don't know, because you can
nuclear weapon satellites they've got up there already.
Probably, yeah. We can spy on ourselves, but you can't spy on us. But yeah, you've got it's heavily guarded by armed guards. For massive perimeters.
Look at Google Maps.
Yeah, I know.
It's
see an aerial photo. Yeah,
you can't.
It's very interesting.
But if you can understand it, if it's a top secret base,
aliens or not,
developing stuff which they don't want people to know about. Of course, they're going to secure it, aren't they?
Yeah. Did you see the thing recently about the storm Area 51?
Yes.
They can't stop everyone or something.
Oh, yes, they can.
Yeah, I know. Apparently 150 people turned up and there were 7 arrests, partly due to trespassing. Some guy was done for indecent exposure or something, and someone else was done for being drunk and disorderly.
They should have got one of their workers and just dress up in a stupid suit and run across the corridor as they're approaching.
That would have been brilliant, wouldn't it? Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll have him. We'll give him something to talk about. But I saw again Joe Rogan, the podcaster, actually put something up on Instagram appealing to people not to do it, leading up to it, saying, "Look, you will be shot whether there's something there or not, whether you think this is fun or not. If you try and storm it, you will be shot." And he actually appealed to people, saying, "Look, don't be stupid."
Yeah, because they will.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to work at Chifner and as catering team, and we come down in the mornings, down the drive.
Yeah,
you've got the armed guards. We're told,
it's a military base.
Yeah, we're told don't speed down. If you speed down the road, you're likely to get not shot, but you cause yourself trouble. Yeah. Approach slowly, be careful, be nice and courteous, because these guys are allowed to. Yeah. If they feel threatened.
Well, going back to aliens, specifically aliens, one theory I quite like the idea of as how we are here. You said about maybe we came here before, did you say? Or
Yeah, is this our point of origin?
Yeah. But is the idea that
If you look at our history, then that how we evolved from a single cell organism up to us now, then that doesn't fit with us being coming from somewhere else.
okay.
But it does fit in if we're told that's where we came from originally, but not from here. We were a single-celled organism in Alpha Centauri 2 or whatever.
So do you think that we could have been brought here by another race, almost in a let's plant this seed, let's see how it grows. We'll check in every now and again, see what they're up to, and see how they evolve. Could we be a big project?
Could be. That's a good theory.
Yeah, that's kind of where that's my probably most.
If you look at how do we fit on this planet, like you said, we've got the orcas eat the seals eat the fish eat the whatever. We don't have a specific diet requirement.
We want everything, don't we?
We whatever we can, yeah. Also, we're top of the food chain, but do we actually fit into the species list perfectly at all, or are we on top of it? You're sort of saying,
yeah,
everything's got its place. What is our place? What are we here for?
Well, it's
to
like
create destruction.
Exactly. This is what I was saying earlier. Is that we seem to be the only species that aren't living our lives in harmony with nature, where everything else is. So why is that? How have we evolved to this inverted commas intelligence?
But we're the third most intelligent species on the planet. There's 2 more species more intelligent than us.
Is it one a whale?
One's a dolphin.
One's a dolphin.
And one's a rat.
A rat?
The rats are more intelligent than us.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm sure people would disagree with that, but I'm not saying it's wrong, but people wouldn't like it, would they?
What was it Douglas Adams said about dolphins? We think we're the most intelligent species because of work and money and all that.
Yeah.
And dolphins are just muck about in the water having a good time. Well, conversely, the dolphins could be thinking about that. They're the most intelligent species because all they do all day is muck around in the water having a good time.
Yeah.
Whereas we're off at work every day, getting stressed, worrying about the bills.
Yeah. Have you seen? It's a good it's a good theory, but I don't consider intelligence being technology. It's great that we've got all this, and it's amazing that we've come up with all this technology using things that are available to us. But when you think that it then, like you say, it creates stress in our lives, the environmental impact from all these technological things that we invent, when they go in the bin, they're polluting the environment. The creating them is polluting the environment. Vehicles, I don't think that makes us intelligent.
No, we're creative.
Yeah,
we're not intelligent.
No.
Not intelligent at all.
No. Have you seen Prometheus?
Yes.
I quite liked. I can't remember if it's actually on the original version or whether it's the director's cut.
Right.
But I really liked the idea at the beginning where the alien, not the xenomorph alien, the
creator.
Yeah, the creator. He's left, and maybe you can remember if this was a deleted scene or whether it was the actual one, where he's left on this barren planet, and you see the spaceship disappearing into the sky, and he takes a vial of that black liquid and basically sacrifices himself, and he falls into the water, and his DNA then is what is supposed to have created life on the planet.
I suppose that forms into the comment I made earlier about us resetting the planet. So he destroys himself, takes himself back to bare basics, and then grows from his bare basics back up again. So in effect, you're resetting the whole creation, or what's that word I'm looking for? Evolvement.
Yeah. See, that's the other thing is like,
who says that's not what happened? He's sort of saying, no, this is what happened. This is properly.
Yeah.
What's he know?
Well, you've got the Big Bang, and I understand that to a point. I don't want to say theory because it seems to be what scientists believe happened. Yeah. But how did someone said to me recently? How do we evolve from apes to humans? And I said, well, how did we evolve from single-celled organisms to apes? That's like an even bigger jump.
Yeah.
And I know we're talking billions of years from when the Big Bang happened to now, But I don't know. I don't know what I believe. I don't know.
We've been going on to Big Bang, things like that. It just opens up so many questions. What was before?
Yeah.
You know?
Nothingness.
Or when you're trying to imagine the universe actually never ending, just going on and on. You can't fathom it.
Your mind just doesn't deal with it, does it?
Or they say that actually, the universe is still expanding. It doesn't go on forever. It's still growing. But what's it growing into?
Yeah.
There's got to be something there for it to be going into.
It's blowing my mind just talking about it. I'm not intelligent enough, and I don't know enough about it to get really into the crux of it. All I can do is just say what my theories are, and you obviously know a lot more about it than I do. It's really interesting talking about it. But I think when it comes to aliens, I think a lot of people dismiss it because they think little green men.
Yeah.
And it's not surprising because of all the films and all the media that goes along with it that people just laugh it off and all this lot. But, it doesn't have to be little green men. It could be anything. And I don't think it's too much of a jump. I know you said about how they would get here and how long it would take for them to get here. But I don't think it's a massive stretch to think that there is something that maybe visits us. Maybe we've got some kind of fuel. Maybe they use something we've got as fuel and we're just a little fueling station for them. Who knows?
Yeah. Time travel.
Time travel. I didn't even think about that. Maybe they got time travel.
I believe that's possible. But I know I've got a theory as to why it's never been proved to be able to happen. Going back into what I said about the universe moving through space, etc. People can go back in time, but they're not moving with the planet in space. So go back in time 500 years. They're at that point in space 500 years ago, but the planet's not there because it's over there.
Okay.
They're actually missing. So you've got all these little time travelers floating around all the universes because they've gone back in time going, I can do this. Whoops. I'm not selling anything. They die in space.
That's actually, that's a really good theory. I didn't even think about that.
Because obviously the Earth's moving. You're not going to be at the same point on the planet if you go back in time.
Yeah.
Because you've got to go back in time. You've got to move in space. You've got to plot to where a land's going to be to land on. Yeah.
You've just ruined Back to the Future for me.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, but you go back 1,000 years, you're not in the same point in the physical world.
Yeah.
Because it's across the universe 5,000 miles away.
What a crazy theory. I'd never even thought about that.
I wanted to send a letter to Stephen Hawking about that, thinking, you did this, you sent out these invites to a party. Do you remember he did that?
No.
He invited a load of time travellers to a party on a certain date, October, whatever it was. But he didn't send the invites out till after the date. Yeah,
Okay.
so he was saying, would people turn up to a party he's hosting before he sent out the invites?
Okay.
To see if there are any time travellers in the future. So he was like, this is an open invitation to all time travellers. I'm hosting this party at this place at this time.
And what
Look
happened?
forward to seeing you there. And obviously he didn't send the invitations out till after the time. Well, no one turned up. So that sort of proved that, there's no such thing as time travel. But I want to say to him, well, yeah, there possibly is, but all the time travellers aren't taking into that extra thing into account that because the Earth is moving through the universe, when they go back in time, they're not on the Earth anymore. They're reappearing in space,
but surely,
in the exact same spot, like that Red Dwarf episode where they go back 3 million years.
I didn't watch it religiously.
They got a time travel machine and they said, right, where should we go? Somewhere safe, somewhere neutral. So they went back in time to a nice safe period in space, like 1842, whatever. And they looked out the windows. They said, yeah, we've done it. We're back in 1842. I said, well, it looks the same. He said, well, yeah, of course it is. We're in 1842, but we're still in the same place in space. We haven't gone back to the planet Earth.
Oh, okay.
We're still in the same physical place in space, but we haven't gone back to the planet Earth because we've gone back in a physical point in space rather than a physical time and point in space.
So that theory's been around for a while then?
In a way.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Well, like I say, I'll never watch Back to the Future the same again.
It probably comes across as like, what's he talking about?
No, it's if I understand
you get the gist of what I'm sort of saying.
Other people will,
You've got to think about moving with the planet.
But you'd think Stephen Hawking would take that into account?
Maybe. I'm sure he would have done.
Yeah.
But I want to say, I've read your book. You've never actually mentioned that bit, that thought.
Wow. Well,
I'm sure he did. God bless him. I'm sure he did.
Yeah, I know. Not a lot got past him, did it? What do you think? What do you think? I know what you were thinking there. What do you think about UFOs? What do you think about aliens? What do you think about ghosts? What do you think about our origin? What do you think about where we're going? Time travel. I do this every episode. I ask people for their opinions. I don't get anything back, Alex. I don't get anything back. But maybe I will this time.
Yes.
Maybe I will. Let us know in the comments.
I was like, who's that freaky guest you got on?
Yeah,
What's
I know.
He on about?
You're blowing my mind. It's too early for my brain to deal with all this, but it's interesting. It's gone sort of a slightly different way to what I thought, because I think my narrow mind just thought of aliens, Area 51, but the whole time travel thing is really interesting, because I'd never taken that into account about people, other races using it as a way to visit us.
Then again, what power do you get with time travel? Would you go back and kill Hitler as a baby?
Yeah.
Which you
Yeah,
pointed on with Danny.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know. It's a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous thing. It is what it is. There's some horrible things that have happened, but everything happens. Well, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen for a reason, but should you change it even if you could?
Yeah, but has something else already been changed which gave us this?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know, and then it changes something else, and then you go back and check. Yeah,
because to be honest, a lot of things could be changing all the time, but because we only have the memories of what is real and has happened, we might not realise that actually yesterday, this place didn't get blown up. It was something else happened, But our memories are changing.
Well, that's the thing.
We wouldn't know our memories are changing because we've only got the thoughts we've got as now.
That's what I was going to ask. Would we automatically update our memory?
I think we would, because
of the events,
because we've come back to a different point and come forward from that. A la Back to the Future too.
Yeah. You wouldn't have that. But what about the people that are potentially doing this? Would their memories change, or would they stay in their own headspace?
They've got because they'd be going for a different arc.
Okay.
As Back to the Future said, they've gone off. They've split off to a different timeline from there, so they still have their memories that they've done it, but the people still static in the correct timeline wouldn't notice the difference.
It would all
because
change
they
around
them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. That's
but
mental.
maybe they have got time machine, but it's in Area 51, heavily guarded.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with aliens. It's just there's a DeLorean sat there, and that's why they need the landing strip. It's got to get up to 88 miles an hour.
Yep.
Well, as always, towards the end of the show, we do this little section called Annoyances, where sometimes myself, but always my guest, gets to get something off their chest, vent a little bit about something that's been eaten away at them, or recently, or for an entire lifetime. So, Alex Bond, do you get irritated easily?
By petty things occasionally.
Okay. So the little things become big things.
Yeah, I mean, there's this twofold one I've got now is probably everyone would think, oh, how pathetic.
Well,
but I don't. It just bugs the shit out of me.
Okay, go for it. What annoys you?
It's to do with supermarkets. Okay. First thing that annoys me is people that park and do their monthly shop in the pick-up and drop-off point.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a parking space less than 10 metres away.
Yeah.
Why can't you use those?
I know.
And also, when you go around Tesco's, you go to pick up your loaf of bread from the loaf, and someone's put a frozen pizza there.
Oh, they can't be bothered to...
You've taken the conscious decision to pick something out of the freezer, decided 2 hours later you don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
Just take it back.
Yeah.
Now, how would you like it if I went to your house and emptied your freezer and left it on the side overnight?
So have you worked in a supermarket?
I haven't, no.
Okay, because
just walking around, it just bugs the absolute hell out of me.
No, the only reason I ask that is because that's the sort of thing I would think that because you've worked in a supermarket and it used to annoy you when you worked there, because I've worked in retail and I know what you mean. It's you just think, how lazy can a person be? Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
It's probably the same people that parked in the pick up and drop off point. Can't be bothered to walk 10 metres from the parking space.
You've made your mind up that same person that's parked in the pickup spot to do their monthly shop.
It's not just the stuff like cakes on which can go back. It's perishable stuff like milk, frozen fish.
Yeah.
Why? Just put it back.
I imagine it goes in the bin, doesn't it? Because they can't say how long it's been sat there.
I'm assuming it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just. But what's made them have a conscious decision to pick it up in the first place, and then decide 10 minutes later, actually, I don't want that anymore.
I can understand if it's, say they've picked up a pizza that isn't on offer, but then they've gone to the freezer, I don't know, the offer thing, and they see that there is some on offer. I'm not saying it's okay, but I can understand they're still lazy, but they're like, oh, okay, well, that one's on offer. I'll leave that.
Yeah, but that's still going to a refrigerated item. But putting a frozen pizza in with the bread,
yeah, no, that's what
tins,
I mean.
You know.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's
Jesus.
okay, but it's still laziness. But I can understand if you're switching a like for a like. But yeah, to just decide you don't want something 10 aisles later and leave it somewhere where you know it's going to perish. Yeah, it's people are
petty
strange.
Ones, but it just. Oh.
Most of my things are petty. Most of my annoyances are petty. So what other little things annoy you then? If little things annoy you, is there anything else? You can have a couple more.
I can't really think of anything off the top of my
Can
head.
you not?
No.
Oh God, I've got loads.
There are, there's nothing major which really jacks me off.
But that.
Apart from that,
Yeah. Oh God, I'm irritated.
Manners.
Yes, courtesy.
You know.
Yeah, I that was one of mine on one of my rants. I just don't. It's something that you shouldn't really have to think about. It's something that should just be natural. You know, as far as I know, we're all brought up to say please and thank you and be mindful of other people and you know, stuff like that. It amazes me that there are some people that aren't like that. But I don't know. I said on a previous episode, I don't know if I'm getting old, but everything annoys me. Everything enrages me.
It's middle-age crisis.
Is that what it is? Oh God, I know. Oh, I'm there. I am there. Well, that's interesting then. It's funny how to some people, it's got to be a big thing that really irritates someone, and other people can just get chipped away at by little things. But likewise, it annoys me when people use disabled bays and stuff just willy-nilly, whether they want to or not. And I know that you can't necessarily look at someone who's parked in a disabled bay and go, well, you're not disabled. But sometimes you see someone parked there, for instance, and I've seen people park there and I'm like, what is your disability? I can't see a badge in your car and you seem totally fine. I think some people have just got that nothing else matters but me kind of attitude in every aspect of their life, which weirdly sort of links to mine. And mine this week is something that's been niggling me for a while, and it's people who have got, okay, I've done spatial awareness. This isn't really spatial awareness, but it's related. People that almost want everyone to know that they're there. If they're having a conversation, everyone's got to hear their conversation. If they've got their phones on and they're watching a video in a fairly quiet place or something, they'll have it full blast. They're having a conversation, they're talking at the top of their voice. It's not having that awareness that, okay, not everyone might want to hear this. Not everyone might not want to hear my conversation. Do you know what I mean? And I get this at work. I'm going to say it. I get this at work quite a lot. I'll be in the canteen and there'll be people around me and they are just having really loud conversations, or they've got their phone on really loud. And it's like, there are other people in here that don't want to hear this and don't want to hear that and don't care what video you're watching on YouTube. Do you know what I mean? It's the one time you get to get away from work, just have a little bit of socialising time or peace and quiet. And when I'm having a conversation, I'd like to think that I keep my voice at a level where it's kind of only relevant to the people that are on my table. So yeah, my annoyance this week are people that basically want everyone to know that they're there. No one cares. No one cares. Keep it down. And that's about it for episode 007 of The Green Room.
Excellent.
Have you had a good time?
It's been a great 2 weeks.
It has been a good 2 weeks. Okay, I should probably explain something, shouldn't I? For all you, I don't know, what would you say?
Regulars?
You regulars, you people that are very good at picking out little details. You might have noticed that I've got a cold in certain parts of this podcast that I didn't have in other parts of the podcast. And Alex also. That is because we ran out of time on the first run through, didn't we? And so we had to reschedule it. And 2 weeks later, you came back, and by which case we're both full of germs.
Full of germs. Yeah.
But thanks for coming back.
That's all right.
You're the only person. You're the only person that's come back for seconds, basically. But no,
Let's hear the end of your story that you started.
Oh yeah, well I know. It's been an experience, but it's been good. I don't know how I'm going to edit this one because we've got so much. It's not footage, but and I can't really. It was 2 weeks ago. I can't remember what we talked about. Ghosts, supernatural, all that kind of thing. Seals, bumps, yeah. So
Anyway.
lots of things, but it's been good having you on, and you've been a lot more relaxed the second time.
Yes.
We've had a bit of a giggle, haven't we?
It's been much better. Yeah.
I try and do
Even
as
though I sound nasally.
Oh yeah, that's what cold's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the funny thing is I try and do everything. Everything's natural. We don't kind of nothing's scripted, but I try and do everything like the first take. It's like however it goes is how it goes. But I cocked up so much on this one. We've ended up redoing a couple of bits, haven't we? Just like a couple of kids on the sofa giggling. It's like, right, okay, we're gonna go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That's what it's been for most of this podcast. But it's been fun. It's been good. So yeah, thanks for coming on. And thanks for talking about the NF stuff as well. I really appreciate that. I think
no problem.
That's really good. We're going to hopefully that's raised a bit of awareness for people that didn't know a lot about it, myself included. But I must remember, I keep almost forgetting to do this, Green Room Hero time. Okay?
Excellent.
So for people that don't know, each episode, if I think someone's worthy, I crown someone the Green Room hero of that episode, and it could be for anything. It could be for interacting with the posts on Facebook, little funny comments, messaging me saying, "Oh, I listened to this," or I listened to it here, or I enjoyed this bit, or I watched this film based on your recommendation. So the Green Room hero is based on that kind of thing. Last episode's Green Room hero was Lee Rogerson. I had to think about it then. Lee's a legend. He always makes me chuckle with his comments on the videos. But for episode 007 of the Green Room, my Green Room hero is a mate of mine who I should have crowned in the Green Room hero sooner than this, but the reason I didn't is because I already gave him a mention. But my Green Room hero for episode 007 is Gary Jiff Kemp. I'll tell you why, and he really deserves this. Jiff came around for a barbecue back in the summer, just after episode 1 had gone up. And he said, listen, I tried to listen to a bit of your podcast the other day. I clicked on it. He said, and there was no video. I said, no, I know there's not. It's not a video. And he said, well, I thought it was a video. I said, everyone thinks this. It's a podcast. And he was a bit kind of, I don't think he'd mind me saying this. I've had this conversation with him. He was a bit dismissive of it. I think because it wasn't a video and it was an hour or so long, he was a bit like, eh. But unlike a lot of people, he just decided to go back, give it the benefit of the doubt, listen to it, and now he listens to every one, and he regularly messages me that he's watched the film that I put up as my movie of the week, or he liked this certain part, and he listens to it here and he listens to it there. And it meant a lot to me that someone who'd almost kind of written it off from episode 1 went back and gave me the benefit of the doubt. And a lot of people wouldn't do that, but Jiff did. So thanks, Jiff. You are my Green Room hero for episode 007, and you deserve it very much. And thanks for the continued support. For those people that maybe still think that it's a video, I do apologise. That's partly probably my fault, because I think in my launch video I didn't say it was a podcast. It is a podcast. Probably not doing the right thing, putting this bit at the end of the podcast, because most people probably
switched off.
Yeah, they've switched off by now. But there is a little blue tab at the top of the Facebook page that says app, I think, or use app.
Use app, yeah.
It might vary depending on whether you're using Apple or Android. But you click that little tab and it will open this thing called Linktree, and there are then links to everywhere you can find the Green Room on whatever platform. Facebook, the podcast sites, Podbean, Acast, Castbox, Spotify, iTunes podcast. You've also got YouTube and all that lot on there. So click that little blue tab at the top of the Facebook page, and that's what that does, if you didn't know.
So a lot of people don't realise.
I didn't know till last week.
Really?
Or week before,
2 weeks
sorry.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Continuity, Alex. I can't even say it. There you go. So, well done, Jeff. And again, thanks to everyone who has supported this podcast throughout. It's nice. I'm increasingly getting people giving me feedback about it, saying, "Oh, I listened to this and I thought it was good," or and it's just a handful of people listening to it is going to make it worth doing, and I'm enjoying it, and that's the main thing.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Share it. I'm going to do a little trailer of the video clips at some point. It's going to take me a while, and I'm going to do like a 2-minute trailer. I'm going to put it up on the Facebook page, and that's the thing that I will be asking people to share, because it will be an advert for the podcast. So I don't know when that's going to come out. My track record, my EP, has taken me 6 years up to this point. So that trailer might come out, long after the Green Room's ended. Well, yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, yeah. Anything you'd like to say before we go?
No, thank you.
No? Man of few words.
Always.
Well, anyone's a man of few words when they're around me. I apologise. I tend to take over. So thank you very much for coming on once again.
It's been a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure. 2 weeks worth.
Yes.
And thanks to everyone for listening to the podcast. And we'll see you on the next episode of The Green Room. Cheers. It's Song of the Week time again, and my Song of the Week this week is a song by Sam Smith. Now, I'll be totally honest, I'm not a massive fan of Sam Smith. I don't mind the odd song. I first heard this song on the trailer to Green Book, which was my movie of the week a couple of episodes ago, and just like the film, the song is really, really good. It's a song called Pray, and it's from his album The Thrill of It All. By the way, if you still haven't seen Green Book, you need to watch it. It is such a brilliant film. As always, I'll put a link to the song on the Facebook page. Give it a listen and let me know in the comments what you think of it. So that's my Song of the Week for episode 007 of The Green Room, Pray by Sam Smith. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.